Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about faith. Faith as a decision. Faith as the decision that comes first. So in today's story, we're in Mark 6:30 through 44, and we're talking about the 5 loaves and 2 fish, which is what Jesus used to feed a multitude of 5,000 families. I know, it sounds like a lot, because it is. It is. But stick with the story because there's a lesson in this for all of us. And, just to start off, what is your 5 loaves and 2 fish? Because in this story that I'll share, that represents what the disciples perceive as lack, as not enough. And I know that if we look at times now, if we look at our lives now, that could be so many different things. If we're looking at what's not enough, it could be time, it could be energy, it could be resources, you name it. You name it. But there is just a really clear example that Jesus has given us for those times in our lives where we feel like it's not enough. And I feel like in this story, one of the reasons why this one is really kind of hitting me right now is because I never noticed this part with the decision and the faith. We focus so much in this story about Jesus blessing what is seemed to be lack that we don't necessarily focus on the fact that something happened before that. There were things that happened before that. So, this is the story. Jesus is out preaching and teaching, and people are coming from everywhere. And at one point, he realized the disciples are tired. They want to rest and they need food. And so they decide to go to another town to get some quiet and to be away from the multitudes. But imagine that you're in a town where you hear that there's someone there that you've been waiting for. So these people are excited and they just want to sit at his feet and hear what he has to say. So instead of the disciples and Jesus being able to go to this quiet, remote place, the multitudes are going there and they're getting there before them. Jesus sees that and he's like, they're like sheep without a shepherd. Of course I'm going to minister to them. Of course I'm going to teach them. Of course I'm going to give them what I have, which is beautiful. So that's exactly what happens. He goes and he just continues to preach and teach. There comes a point where the disciples come back to him and they're like, hey, you need to send these people away because it's getting late. They need food, and just have them go to a neighboring town, get some dinner. And Jesus is like, wait, just feed them. And the disciples look around and they're like, how? That's a lot of people. And Jesus says, what do you have? That's the question. Jesus says, what do you have? He tells the disciples to go see. So they do. Turns out they have 5 fish and 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Okay. Jesus says, tell the people to sit down. So the disciples do that. Then Jesus takes the loaves and the fish, blesses them, thanks God, and breaks them, and then keeps on teaching and preaching. The way that the story ends is that everyone is fed and there's food left over. Okay. So let's break this down a little bit more. Like, what was the first thing that happened? Okay. The first thing that happened, technically, is that the disciples wanted the people to go. The disciples wanted the multitude to go. And it's not because there was anything wrong that they did. It was because the disciples didn't think that they had enough for the multitude. They didn't think they could feed them. They didn't think that they could. They looked at what they had and they saw that it clearly, in the material world, was not enough. Jesus told them to sit. Jesus told the disciples to tell the people to sit down. He told them to sit before he blessed the food. Because the decision that all those people were going to be fed came with him telling the disciples to have them sit. That was where that decision was made. So Jesus tells the disciples to have everyone sit, and they do. He takes the food. He takes what they see as not enough, and he blesses it. He gives thanks for it. So when I say bless, he's giving thanks. Jesus is being thankful for what they do have that they see as lack. And then after he gives thanks, he breaks it and distributes it to the disciples to distribute to the people. But guess what Jesus doesn't do? Here at this bottom, this release part, after he distributes it and gives it to the disciples, he's not looking over to make sure that everyone's getting fed. He's not making sure that the disciples are giving them just the right amount so that everyone gets what they need. Jesus completely let it go. He's like, I told them to sit, they sat. I gave thanks, I broke it, I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing, which is preaching and teaching. And this is such a timely lesson for us now. And that's the reason why we're coming back to the same question that we started with in the very beginning. What are your 5 loaves and 2 fish? Because God isn't asking you to make what you have enough. God is actually telling you that what you have is enough. And God's also telling you that you have to decide that it's enough. And once you decide that what you have is enough in this moment, and you give thanks for what you have in this moment, and then you release the rest to God. Whew. This is for us now. This is so for us right now. What do you have? Whatever it is that you have, God can work with it. You know, I feel like the message for us here is decide, give thanks, and then let God be God. Yeah. So what are you deciding today? Thank you for watching this video. I would love to hear what you are experiencing right now in this arena. I'd love to hear your experiences with the 5 loaves and 2 fish, and to hear stories of what God has done to blow your mind. I'd love to hear stories about what you're going through right now, because this is a journey and we learn from each other. We learn from knowing each other's stories. And I'm so excited to be able to share some of these with you. So, may you be blessed in your comings and goings. May you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Take care.